Hello there, this is Rom Wills coming back at you with yet another video. Women are not attracted to a man based on science. Let me be very clear, because I know some people, they hear stuff a different way. I ain't saying women aren't attracted to a man, I was just saying based on science. And I'm gonna get into the primary reasons they will be attracted to a man. It's just two primary reasons. Right? And this ain't even talking about body game or anything like that. Because see, here's the problem. A lot of guys think it's a science to it. But I'll just say it. There's no common sense in that. If there was a science to it, you would just employ the science and you wouldn't have trouble. It's just that simple. It's just that simple. But a lot of guys think there is. See, a science is definite. Water is going to boil at a certain temperature no matter what. No matter where you are on the planet. Stuff is going to burn at a certain temperature. Stuff is going to freeze, you know. A science is something definite. Your exact height is a science, you know. Even if you want to talk about measuring the face or something, that's a science. Whatever the measurements are, the numbers, the mathematics. 1 + 1 is always 2. No matter how you try to change it. There's no opinion on it. Those are facts. I talked about facts versus opinions on my Deep Thought channel this week on Tuesday. Look, here's the thing. Here is the thing. If it was that simple, it wouldn't be a problem. But see, you get a lot of guys who try to tell other men, oh, you got to have this, you got to have this height, you got to have this body fat and stuff, you'll get women. It's like, no. First of all, you should look outside. Because apparently, guys who aren't 6 feet are getting women. Apparently, guys who might have, what, 25% body fat are still getting women. You know, it's like, look, and then you got some guys who got what some guys are thinking of the science. Yeah, they want this scientifically, or this man is objectively attractive. Let me address that. Objective is 1 + 1 = 2. You can't argue with that. But because I remember, I gotta find that video again, but it was a young man, he was showing pictures of models to these women, and they kept saying different numbers. An objective, if you get 1,000 women who look at a man and somebody's saying, well, he's objectively attractive, then they should all say 10, every single one. You can't argue with it. But if they giving different numbers, that's going on, that's based on their viewpoint. I want y'all to think about that. You can't argue with it, you know? I want y'all to think about that. Now, what is it that women, I'm saying it's not based on objective numbers, because one, they don't exist if we're talking about man and woman getting together, you know? They don't. Now, I know some people are going to try to argue it, but I would ask them this. Why are people disagreeing? Everybody should agree. Nobody can argue 1 + 1 doesn't equal 2. Nobody, in all seriousness. You could see that. You can go any place on the planet. You can ask anybody regardless of education. If they know how to count, they can figure it out. You can use props. That's objective, you know? Water boiling at a certain point, that's objective. Now you could say your height is a certain, you know, you could say, well, that's a science, 6 feet. But then you make the statement, oh, well, you gotta be 6 feet to get a woman. No, that's an opinion. That's an opinion. That's not a science. That's an opinion. That's not, because there's too many variables involved, especially when you bring out how women really choose, how men choose, really. How men choose, but we're gonna talk about women. Women are attracted to a man, always gonna come down to two things. No, it's not how they look, and it's not how much money they got. It's how, two things. How a woman feels about that man, regardless of how he look. And then on a second level, women are very pragmatic. Now, once you understand those two things, there you go. Let me use the thing, because, you know, of course, you get some guys saying, well, you got to look like Chad. You got to be 6 feet. You know, you gotta be 6 feet. Shoot, some guys saying 6'2". You gotta have a certain amount of body fat. You gotta have hollow cheeks. You gotta have all your hair and everything. Okay, say you got a guy like that. In fact, I remember it was on one of those reality shows, dating reality shows. I think it was Love Island, and they were playing a game. They were talking about body counts, right? Now, the one guy who actually looked like a stereotypical Chad had the lowest body count. He had the lowest body count, you know? Meanwhile, I remember one dude, he had a little bit of weight on him and everything. Didn't look like the stereotypical, it was a brother, stereotypical Tyrone. He had a body count of 300. So I'm like, wait a minute, hold up. But it comes down, understand it comes down how a woman feel about it. Like one woman, she could see that stereotypical Chad and she'll feel like he handsome and all of that. But she's like, she don't feel good around that. He too pretty. In fact, women will say that. They feel self-conscious. They could feel 1,000 things. Or they could feel lust. They could feel all of that. But do they feel it? Dude, they can feel whatever, you know? They could have a dislike for him, or they could have a love for him. It's all on their feelings. How does it make them feel? It's specifically about themselves. Because ultimately women are selfish about their needs, you know? Does he make her feel good regardless? That's why sometimes you'll get a woman, she'll skip over a guy who got what is a consensus, and notice I say consensus considered a good body, for some guy who is a consensus not considered a good body, but he makes her feel good. Women are always in their feelings. It depends on how you touch their emotions, regardless of how you look, regardless of how much money you got, right? So that's one level right there, their feelings. Always, I don't care, even when I talk body game, it depends on how a woman feels about your body. I want y'all to think about that, you know? Because I'll use myself, you know, big old dude. I've had a lot of like slimmer, petite women say they felt safe, they specifically say they felt safe around me when they saw my body. So that's the thing. That's the thing. And I know some guy would try to say, well, when they around a tall guy, they'll feel safe. You don't know what that particular woman will feel. Because every woman is different. Because you have some women, they don't want to mess with a guy who seems too dominant because psychologically, and I got a Rom TV series coming up where I'm going to get into that. One of those personality types of women, for those who, you need to sub to Rom TV because I'll go deep. You get some women, they ain't going to mess with a guy who comes off as too dominant. My favorite, I talked about it before, my favorite rejection was a woman who actually complimented me. She actually called me a pretty boy. And she specifically said, nah, I like rough looking dudes. But the thing about her personality was she likes to be the one to dominate. So if you have a woman who got a controlling attitude, you know, she ain't gonna want to be around a man who look better or feel like she can't exercise some type of control. She don't feel safe with him. You know, you get another woman, oh, that guy gotta be, he gotta be just totally dominant, but not in his physicality, but in his personality. You know, because she feels safe. She wants to submit, but he has to show himself to be a man who can take charge. That's why you will get some women. They might not get with that guy who, you know, it looks good or got that like outstanding body, but he just got a dominant personality because they feel safe. So that's one level. The second one is once you get past a woman's emotions, they cold-blooded, they pragmatic. In fact, when you talk about, there's a lot of talk against single mothers. Now, one of the things that used to happen back in the day, a woman, she would still have that baby. She would still have that baby with like, you know, some dude that she felt good with. She felt good. She felt he was attractive. She felt he was sexy. She felt whatever. She popped out that baby for him. What would happen is, they fell in love. That's a feeling. The way they describe love, generally, it's a feeling. All Okay, she got the baby, but you know, some other stuff go away. All of a sudden, she don't have that same drive for a baby because, well, she got one or two. All of a sudden, she's pragmatic. She was pragmatic. Because I remember among elders, they would talk about that. A lot of women would get, it's probably still the same case, which is what a lot of men don't like. You get a lot of women pragmatic, they need a father figure in there to help with the children. That used to be a prime thing. Not as much anymore. You know, the money thing. That's when money like starts popping up. You know, they ain't in a position, they need help, something like that. Okay, they'll deal with this guy. And he, you know what? He ain't even about how he look. Pragmatic. He's bringing something to the table that she needs. She needs it. She's pragmatic. He's bringing something. It could be his status. Actually, it could be his status because pragmatically, she got her degrees. Pragmatically, she wants to be with somebody for family, friends, whatever, that is has a certain status. She's pragmatic, you know. A lot of women, they'll hook up with a guy who just hanging around. She's tired of being by herself. So pragmatically, she'll deal with this guy. She don't have any strong feelings for him, but she'll deal with him. You know, sometimes even just for sex. Sometimes they know they just need a hot one in them. They'll get that man who been bugging them for months, but they know he'll come through. Pragmatic. So understand that. And everyone is different. See, that's why I say it's not a science. See, a science, 1 + 1 always equals 2. Water always boils at a certain temperature. It always freezes at a certain temperature. You know? You know, anything that involves mathematics, okay, that's a science. You know? But women ain't attracted to a guy just on that. A lot of guys try to point that out, but here's the point. The guys who try to point that out, how's it working for them? Just ask yourself that one question. How's that working for anybody? You know? How is it some guys who got what they think is a science can't get as many women? Because the woman got to feel a certain way with the guy. She got to feel something about it. And then if not, he got to match something pragmatically. Like I said, women are they down there ruthless when it comes down to pragmatic. Hell, men are probably more romantic, looking for some illusion or something. The woman be like, yeah, whatever. You know what? Dude don't look that bad. You know, he'll keep the bills paid. Or, you know what? Dude, he don't got a job, but I can like control him. You know, it could be several things. It could be, you know what, you get some women on a pragmatic level, they'll get into a relationship with a man. And because they know he's the type ain't gonna go anywhere, he ain't gonna cheat as much, they're gonna hang out with him. It's several different things. But none of it's a science. It's how they feel all the way. Even pragmatically, that still touches their feelings. They feel like, okay, this dude's they got some list, this dude matched the list, okay, boom. And that's the one, once you remember that, once you understand that about women, you don't have to worry about anything. Because then you get an idea. You don't have to wonder why she with that dude. He fulfilling some need, one way or the other. He either touched her emotionally or he's feeling some type of need. Even when you see maybe that drop dead gorgeous woman with some guy, you're like, why she with him? And it ain't always money. It can be money. Like I said, you got a lot of controlling women. She might be drop dead gorgeous, but she want to exercise some control. Because, please, I've known some women, they were gorgeous. They get that guy who wouldn't be considered as consistently attractive or having that much money, but she's the boss. And that's just one, because I know somebody hear that. Oh, they all want to be. No. First of all, get off the all. Get off the word all. You got different groups with different tendencies, and even within the groups, it still comes down to individual feelings. All right. So that's all I have for today. Well, for right now. That's all I have for right now, because y'all know how I do. I'll throw something else up later, but that's all I have. But I want y'all to think about that. You know, get science, logic out the way. Because if all of that was a case, If women, I'm gonna tell you what, because even when women being pragmatic, yeah, I just gotta add this extra thing. Even if a woman being pragmatic, that still touches her feelings, like I said earlier. If everything was based on science and logic, we would just have order in relationships. I wouldn't be talking about this. Hell, it might not exist. I might not exist. So, anyway, I want y'all to think about that. Now, it's over. Peace and blessings, y'all.